Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about how you can say the exact same thing in a bunch of different ways? Well, in English, one of the coolest tricks we have up our sleeve is choosing between two different voices. Today, we're going to break down the magic behind the active and passive voice, and trust me, you'll see just how simple and powerful it really is.
So to get started, let's imagine a little story. Picture two friends, Neha and Amit, standing in their school hallway, just staring at this amazing new mural on the wall. Neha, totally impressed, says, "I heard Mr. Verma, our art teacher, painted this mural." Pretty straightforward, right? We know exactly who did the painting.
But hang on a second. What if we wanted to make that beautiful mural the real star of the show? Put the spotlight on the painting itself instead of on Mr. Verma. How could we flip Neha's sentence around to do that? Well, that's the big question we're going to answer today.
To figure that out, let's first take a look at the way we speak most of the time. This is what we call the active voice, and it's all about putting the hero, the person or thing doing the action, right at the very beginning of the sentence.
So, in the active voice, the whole sentence is built around the subject. You can think of the subject as the hero of the sentence. All the focus is on what this hero is actually doing. It's direct, it's clear, and it gets straight to the point. Let's look at a super simple example you've probably heard a million times. The cat chased the mouse. It's crystal clear, isn't it? The cat is our hero, our subject. And what's it doing? It's chasing. The action is tied directly to the doer.
And this shows us the really simple formula for the active voice. You've got your subject, in this case, the cat. That's followed by the verb, or the action, chased. And then comes the object that's receiving the action, the poor mouse. Subject plus verb plus object. Nice and easy.
Okay, but what if we want to tell the story from the mouse's point of view? This is where our second voice, the passive voice, steps onto the stage. Let's see how we can use it to completely change the focus of our sentence.
Right, so in the passive voice, we basically flip everything around. The thing that was receiving the action, the object, now gets to be the main subject of the sentence. The focus moves away from the doer and onto the action itself, or what's being acted on.
So our sentence, "The cat chased the mouse," becomes "The mouse was chased by the cat." See what happened there? Our attention immediately goes to the mouse. The chase is still happening, but the spotlight has completely moved.
The formula gets a little tweak, too. We start with the object from our active sentence, the mouse. Then we add a to-be verb, words like is, was, or are, and we follow that with something called the past participle of our main verb. That's just the form of the verb you'd use with has or have, like chased. So the new formula is object plus a to-be verb plus the past participle.
Now, changing from active to passive might sound a bit tricky, but I promise it's just like following a simple recipe with 5 steps. First, find your subject, verb, and object. Let's try. The chef cooks the meal. Chef is the subject. Cooks is the verb. Meal is the object. Okay, step 2. Swap the subject and object, so meal goes to the front. Step 3. Add a to-be verb. Let's use is. Step 4, change the verb to its past participle, so cooks becomes cooked. And finally, step 5, just add the word by before our original subject, the chef.
And voila! The chef cooks the meal becomes the meal is cooked by the chef. We just followed the steps and boom, we shifted the focus from the person doing the cooking to the delicious food being cooked. It's a really neat trick.
So we know the how, but let's talk about the why. Why do we even need two different voices? Well, this is actually the most important part, because choosing your voice is a real power move. It completely changes the feel of what you're trying to say.
Let's put them head to head. Active voice focuses on the doer, and it feels really clear, direct, and full of energy. It's what we use for most of our everyday conversations. The passive voice, on the other hand, puts the focus on the action or the result. It can feel a bit more formal or even impersonal. That's why you see it a lot in science books or news reports where the what is more important than the who.
For example, if you want to give someone credit for something amazing they've done, you're going to use the active voice. The scientist discovered a new element. Of course, we want to celebrate the scientist. She's the hero here, so we put her right at the front.
But what about this situation? The window was broken. Who broke it? We have no idea. Maybe a cricket ball, maybe the wind. We just don't know. And since the doer is a total mystery, the passive voice is perfect. It puts all the focus on the result, a broken window.
And sometimes it just makes your language sound a bit more varied and interesting. A good speaker or writer knows how to mix it up. So instead of always saying, the choir sang the song, you could say, the song was sung beautifully. It just adds a little touch of elegance, don't you think?
So there you have it. You now have the tools. You get the difference, and you know why you might pick one voice over the other. Let's do a super quick recap and get you ready to become a total voice master.
Okay, let's lock in these key ideas. Active voice. The doer is the hero of the sentence. Passive voice. The action is the star of the show. Your rule of thumb should be to choose active for clear, punchy, direct sentences, and choose passive when you want to sound a bit more formal, or when the person who did the action just isn't the most important part of your story.
And I'll leave you with a little challenge to think about. Imagine a time when a friend left a surprise gift on your desk, but you didn't know who it was from. How would you tell that story? You'd probably say, "A gift was left on my desk." See? By using the passive voice, you perfectly capture that feeling of mystery. Give it a try. It's actually a really fun way to practice this new skill.